Oh, fellas, how we doing? How we doing?
It's hot out here.
Good. Yeah, man. Last weekend I was in Washington State and I was loving that high 60s, low 70s weather. I'm prepared to go back.
Kyle's sitting in the garage right now. I know you're toasty. It's like 90 degrees outside right now.
Yeah. We stay cooking over here, but it's all right. Yeah, T, you went on vacation. I didn't know where you actually went though. So Washington State, what's up? What was up there?
My great aunt lives up there. She had her 94th birthday, and her birthday is one day before my brother's, and he had his 50th. So we were able to kind of celebrate them both. 50th birthday for my brother, obviously that's a big one. And then every birthday in the 90s is huge. So yeah, good family time.
T, how many?
I wasn't.
How many weeks till your 50th birthday?
Shoot, man, we about my birthday is July 12th, so we right around the corner, baby. We right around the corner. I don't.
You're telling your story. You're telling your story about your great aunt. I wasn't laughing at that. We got Hogball in here already taking shots at Mikkel. The under 19 USA tournament was today, and we had some. Emmett. Today is Emmett's birthday. There we go.
Emmett. We got into it on.
We were just talking about you.
We were just talking about you, Emmett. Happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday, man.
Before it went live, we were talking about y'all's engagement back and forth. Let's just put it out there. Stop saying bad stuff about other people on X, especially like just don't. It's never not going to happen. Like it's just always going to happen. But fans, man, just terrible. Zakai Ziegler sucks, but we don't like that his house burnt down. It's not nice, But did y'all catch any of that basketball tournament today? Probably not. It was on. You had to watch it on YouTube.
Nah.
I caught some of it. We were up like 20 on Australia when I watched it. I watched through the fourth quarter and then kind of saw some highlights. Jasper had some good buckets, but that's all I was really worried about.
Side note: Koa Pete is on that team, right? Did he stick out to you at all?
He looked good early. I think he had like the first 9 points or something like that.
So Koa Pete goes to Perry High, which is the same school Brock Purdy went to, and Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City Thunder. But that's like 3 miles down the street from my parents. So when we went out there for Thanksgiving, or Christmas, whatever it was, I went to a holiday tournament just so I could check him out and see what he was about, because he's one of the top players in the country, and I have not seen a high schooler look that NBA ready in terms of like his body physically since Dwight Howard. So I was just curious how he did because Cole Pete he's a stud.
Yeah, apparently Mikael Brown went 3 of 14. So not an efficient day.
Hey, he's not scared though. He's not scared.
That's true.
Bro, what are we
getting him up?
What are we
firing that thing up?
What are we talking about? Is one game really? Really? Well, that's where we're gonna go. He's bad. He's bad now.
I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it happened, but at some point, Louisville and Arkansas, I think maybe you guys are playing each other in the ACSC Challenge, right? This year?
Yeah.
So that must be what it is, because there has been a Twitter beef between the fan bases. So, and Hogball is a professional burner troll. He is very good at what he does on the Twitter. I don't know what he looks like, but I've engaged with him quite a bit. And he will come at you, and he will get under your skin at times. He's done it to me every time. It's like, this motherfucker, he's very good at pissing you off on the X.
I'm unfazed. I'm unfazed by a 3 for 14 game. Completely unfazed.
Well,
that's fine
until he does that against Kentucky, and then you might be.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you know what? We're gonna pin this right here, and when we come in there and bust Arkansas's ass, I'll remember this one. I'll remember this one.
I like it. Michael Brown is Darius Acuff's son. Hey, Darius Acuff looks tough, but I will see all those guards transition to the SEC. We'll see how it goes. I know Jasper. There's a lot of questions about if he's going to be able to transition to the SEC. We'll see. All that. I think at this point, if any team's relying on, doesn't matter if he's a 4-star, 5-star freshman. If you're relying on that dude to carry you deep in conference play and in the tournament, that's not recipe for success. Anyways, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to have pieces, right? Like it can't just be one dude. That's not how it's ever going to go. It is not like obviously stars do have their impact, but like if you don't got good pieces around them, it's just one person that can get locked up by a whole team. So,
hey T, how does it feel to have a player from last year's team drafted?
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Wow,
we started early with that. He was talking junk already.
I was asking how it felt to have a player from last year's team drafted.
Just say we don't know.
The league.
Just say I don't know. It's fine. He's just talking junk. It's okay.
It's
not like I went in. He's talking junk. He's trying to get you to dog me.
Revelate! Wake up!
Why you think I got this, man?
He's still napping 5 minutes into the show right now.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know what was happening with Louisville. I'm not paying attention to their guys, man. Sure.
Yeah, hey,
I think they didn't have anyone drafted. But you had Hepburn signed with Toronto.
Yeah, Chucky.
Edwards signed with No.
I forget who.
Who did he signed with? The Bucks? I think he signed with the Bucks.
I hate that for Chucky, man. I hate it for Chucky because I like Chucky. Chucky can hoop.
Bro, yeah, he can, but I mean, he's an undersized guard, dude. Like, I mean, he plays very well defensively, but like at the end of the day, he's not. I don't think he's going to have the type of offensive efficiency in the league that he had in college. But he's going to be a good piece. He's 6'2", I think. He's
not that undersized. I mean, why? Like, I don't think the average point guard is 6'5" or whatever. Steph is 6'3". An inch. There's not so many Lonzo Balls and SGAs.
Yeah, but I mean, Steph. All right, Steph also has one of the most ridiculous handle packages you've ever seen in your life.
Correct. I'm just saying it's not like people that he's going against every night are going to be towering over
right.
him.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's like super. I'm just saying that for what people have been drafting and what the game's kind of evolving into, like he is becoming what would be considered an undersized guard. I think he'll still be a good piece for them. Probably see some time in the league this year. I figure he'll with a 2-way contract probably split a decent amount of time. But I'm excited for him.
He's got a chance in Toronto, that's for sure. That is a poverty franchise now.
No, for sure.
It's not poverty franchise.
It is ugly up there for sure.
So they let the GM go or the president. What was
Masai Ujiri.
Was he president and GM?
No, he had been. I thought he got elevated from GM to president or vice
Yeah,
president.
okay.
So if did Toronto make the right move? Right, they mortgaged basically their entire future for the championship they won that 1 year with Kawhi. So is that worth it?
I mean, the win now strategy worked out for him.
Right.
Like,
So is it worth it to be a team in despair for the next decade, but you got your ring? In this world, to me, it is like
yeah,
Yeah, I
because
agree.
your Toronto fan base, I think, is going to remain loyal. You were able to
yeah.
bring them a championship, and as long as they can see that you're giving effort, you're trying to do something, which they are. It's just never working out. I think they'll stick with you. So at least you got a ring out of the deal instead of being a second round playoff exit every year.
Yeah.
And he knew it was a gamble when he brought Kawhi in because Kawhi was not going to stay a career in Toronto. That's not.
Right.
It was going to be a short term deal, and he had to win now, and he made it happen. And if you can win it, if you can win a chip now, you can. And with the draft, that's what you talk about, like these pieces. We talked about this before. I do not understand these guys, the front offices of NBA organizations, when they draft and the projection of what they're going to look like X years from now, and these top picks that aren't even playing, and you got dudes who are experienced who can come in and seem like play now and make impact, but get drafted later, and just kind of sit in the G League or don't get a shot. We had the number 3 and number 6 overall picks last year, and how many minutes did they get with what did Reed get with or
Reed got like 300 or
Dillingham
like
get with
500
Minnesota?
minutes or yeah. Reed got like 500 minutes, something ridiculously low for a number 3 pick.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, it's such a win now league. Honestly, like I don't want to say dynasties are necessarily dead because I think OKC is obviously very young. Be interesting to see if they can keep that core together for a while. But I mean, everybody's just so focused. You see it with all these trades all the time, and people, like you said, just like Toronto, leveraging their future, for a star that they think is going to get them there right now, knowing what it's going to do to them over the course of the next 10, 15 years, is pretty wild. But I mean, if you get, if it works out, you strike gold and you win a ring. I think I agree with Kyle. I think it is worth it in today's league anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and then look at Milwaukee too, right? Like they did everything they could to build around Giannis. They've been, they've not been a poverty franchise, but I don't know that they've really been a true contender since. But they got their ring. So
yep.
And what I also don't understand with the long play, like very few franchises can be OKC in Indiana, where you go from within a short amount of time, you build a team and have a culture where you can go from a 24 win team to into the NBA Finals within a 3 or 4 year period, right? And I think for OKC and the Pacers, they had a lot of talent that was slept on that people weren't chasing after big time in free agencies, right?
yeah.
But in the NBA, more so than any other league, these players, like your prime time, your super max contract players, have so much say in like, hey, you're going to trade me. I'm not playing. You're going to trade me. They have so much say in what these organizations do. So if you draft somebody and hope that they're going to be good 3 or 4 years from now, but by then they're coming up on the end of their contract and they want to go somewhere else, you just kind of wasted that. So I don't understand why. Like, give me somebody who can play now and go get me because the dynamics of the league are going to shift so often. I mean, how many teams has KD been in the last decade, right? Or James Harden or these these big names. It's very rare that you have a Giannis who says like, yeah, I'm going to be loyal to this organization, even though does he truly believe he's going to win a ring there? Maybe he ends up leaving this offseason, but he's kept signing deals, hoping that they're going to get back to that championship status. Eventually you got guys even like Dame Lillard, who was loyal, was like, all right, I got to get out of here because I can't win a ring where I'm at now. So
he's not going to now either.
No, poor Dame,
unfortunately. Unfortunately. But let's go to the top of the draft. Cooper Flagg, we knew he was going number 1. Goes to the Mavs, which saves that GM's as well. That we talked about that before. That draft pick, getting the number 1 pick for him. What's up, dude?
We got a guest appearance.
Yeah, but is how much of a needle mover is Cooper Flagg to you?
I do. For that franchise right now, the way they are, I mean, he said it himself. He said he feels like he's not the centerpiece of the franchise right now, which is kind of crazy when you're a number one overall pick. But he said that helps him. He doesn't feel as much pressure.
Yeah.
But I just, with the pieces that they need to compete in the West, I don't know that he really moves the needle right now. Are they going to be more competitive? Yeah, absolutely. I think one, it depends. Can AD's fragile ass actually be healthy for an entire season? Can Kyrie stay healthy for an entire season? Same type of thing. And I mean, like it really all depends. But I think they need more than just him to be able to get past an OKC or get past the Rockets with KD, which I'm sure we'll get to here shortly. But yeah, I don't know that he gets them there quite yet.
Yeah, he's not a needle mover. He makes them better, and it's not an indictment on him. Dude
No.
can ball. They definitely
Yeah.
are better with him on the team. It's his style of play. Like, he's not a feed me, and let me just go get you 25 every night. Like, he's a play within the system, just uber talented type dude who can probably more stuff the stat sheet than just drop you 25 a night or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And to me, that's more so what they needed was a scorer, and they don't really have that. He is an all around talent. So I don't think that puts them in contention, but I'm excited to see what he can do because he can really play, and he's fun to watch. But to me, he's fun to watch from an all around standpoint more than just I'm gonna go out there and get you 25 every night.
Yeah. So I think I disagree with you guys. With him and AD and Lively, and then you get if Clay can even be
Oh
a
dang!
part of
I forgot
himself.
about Clay.
I
Dang.
Clay,
didn't.
and then you come back in January timeframe if Kyrie is healthy and rolls back in, and even post All Star game they go on a run. I think they can be dangerous the way they goes because, like you said, Cooper Flagg doesn't have to be a stud. It's a very rare number one draft pick, like you mentioned. AD and Kyrie are the face of that thing, and you can just come in. And I mean, you argue if Cooper Flagg is he's not generational talent. If he's
A bona fide number one pick. Just
Yeah.
a number one
yeah,
pick.
okay, yeah, good way to explain it there. They have the best or one of the best front courts in the West, maybe in the league. Agree or disagree?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I think there's just too many question marks around that roster of people's play and people's health.
Health for sure. Health for sure. Kyrie's on the back half of his career. AD hasn't put together a healthy season since COVID and the
COVID.
bubble. So
Yep.
yeah, who knows? But maybe a guy with Flag is not AD, but he's similar enough where he can maybe you don't have to ride AD as much. He gets some, and you can towards the back half of the schedule and in a postseason play. I think that's a
So
massive
who
get
do
for
you
the
who are
Mavs.
you
I
running
do
your
think that.
offense through? Who are you running your offense through if you're Dallas? Because remember, that's what LeBron wanted in LA. He wanted the offense to go through AD. At least that's what he says.
Yeah.
And AD starts off, I think it was last season, right? Like the first 10 games or so, like looking like he was about to be the season MVP. And then he just couldn't keep that up. AD is a generational talent, but I just don't know that you run an offense through him for the whole season. So I just don't like you got to have somebody who's giving you 25 a night. Like you have to. And I just don't know who. I don't know who, unless you're going to be Detroit, where everybody can give you like all five starters besides Ben Wallace can give you between 12 and 20 every night. And I suppose they could do that, but I think you have to have a scorer, and Kyrie can be that, but he's older and he's going to be playing the point guard, so you kind of want him to facilitate and get others involved. I just I
I
don't. Who
think
do you run the offense through?
I think it honestly turns into I feel like any team that AD's on, like if AD asserts himself offensively, that is a dangerous team. But he has shown time and time again throughout the last 5-6 years that it's like a switch with him. It's like some days he shows up and he plays timid and you're like, yo, what is going on? And then he comes out the next game and he drops 35 because he's aggressive. And it's like, I don't know. He's not, to me, he's not like an Anthony Edwards type dude with his mentality, where Anthony Edwards is going out there and he's like, I'm going to drop 40 on you and you're going to like it. And I don't care. Like I'm going to come out and you're going to get 100% every single night. I'm going to be aggressive. So I don't know, man. It is a good roster. They obviously have he's not stepping into what we typically see like a number one pick stepping into, where it's just, dog shit. And you're not going to be any good. Like Wembanyama stepping into the Spurs. Like you knew they weren't going to be any good.
They're quickly becoming something over there, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. Now, no. Yeah, I'm saying
you're
like
right.
year one, you knew they were not going to win games, right?
Yeah.
Like you just knew what he was getting into. But I don't think that's the same case for Cooper. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see. So I think it all just depends on how healthy they are.
Yeah. So later on in the draft, you get at the 5 pick. Have you all been following this Ace Bailey news?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about this, man? Because I definitely feel a certain way about it, and I don't know if we all three agree on a rookie who went to Rutgers, got a bag there, played well. His whole pre-draft process of like, I'm not working out for anybody. I think scheduled something with Philly that didn't show up. And essentially, it seems like his camp was trying to get him lower in the draft to go to a certain franchise, and it didn't work out. Yep. And now he don't want to play with the Jazz. How do we feel about that?
I think it really speaks to it. The people around you matter, right? Like the people that you have around you in your ear as an 18, 19-year-old kid trying to tell you what to do, what moves to make, and where you should go and how you should be acting, like really matter. Because at the end of the day, like I think a lot of people lose sight of is these are kids. Like they're fresh out of high school. They're 1 year out of high school. Like,
yep.
So, they're going to listen to these people because they've been around them their entire lives. And clearly he had a lot of influence from his camp, and they try to make their move. It's very reminiscent to like, the Eli thing back in the day. The only time I can think of it is like Eli Manning in football, right? Where they just told the Chargers straight up, if you draft me, I will not play for you. like I am not going to do that. So dude, it's wild. I think it's Draymond Green has some things to say about it, and I'm not a Draymond Green fan by any stretch of the imagination, but like I agree with him in the sense that he's putting himself behind the 8 ball already, because now like you haven't even stepped foot on an NBA court, you haven't stepped foot in a practice with your team, and you very clearly didn't want to get drafted by that team in particular, because that's what all the reports are coming out as saying. He basically told Utah he did not want to come play there and that he wasn't going to report. They called his bluff. They drafted him. And now, like Emmett's over here saying like he showed up today. So, I mean.
Oh, he did show up today. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, their president and their GM played it off. They're like, they talked to, he was on the Pat McAfee show the day after the draft. And he was like, kid, all I see is a humble kid who's ready to get to work and ready to play. So, I mean, it's a bad look, I think. But at the end of the day, if he comes out and plays like a number 5 overall pick, and I mean, I think them and getting him and Walter Clayton Jr. in the first round, like that's big for that franchise.
Such a steal.
Such a steal, like wild. So he's got an opportunity to prove people wrong, but I think right now it's a bad look.
T, what do you think?
I don't think the optics of it were good, but the one report that I read about it was that Utah wasn't ready to like start popping red star clusters until Monday. If he was a no-show on Monday, that's when they were prepared to have an issue. Emmett said he reported today, so in the end, he did what was required of him. I think he probably did try to control too much pre-draft, but in the end, I think he'll show up and do, what they want him to do. He'll play hard and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be fine, but I don't think it was a good look to start off with. But he's there in time for summer league camp and all that. So I think I agree with Draymond that he's behind in terms of what the mesh will be with his teammates, because maybe his teammates are like, who do you think you are that you're too good? This is the league. So there may be some friction there. Maybe, I don't know his personality enough, but in terms of learning the system, learning the scheme, being able to play ball, I think he's fine. So not a
Super
great
talented.
not a great look, but I don't think it was at I don't think he was at the point of no return or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes and balls out in the summer league, and then he's gonna be on the roster. He's gonna be sitting there dressed day one. If he goes and balls out, who cares? No one's gonna care. No. Like, go win basketball games.
This will be water under the bridge.
It will be forgotten. Yeah.
I do think if he gets there, I understand I don't want to go play for Utah. Like, this dude
yes,
just doesn't know, right? Doesn't understand. No, he wasn't around for the Stockton Malone days. Understand, like, that fan base has been passionate. It's been big, and like they love basketball out there. And up until recently, that was all they have. Now they have an NHL team out there, but like that is their pro. That's the thing that people can gravitate to on the pro side. I think he'll get out there and he'll realize that it is a good organization. The owner did talk about, to your point, T, like about the veterans and whatnot. He said, I think he called them like selfless veterans. Like, you're going to come out here and you're going to get the ball. Like, you're going to have your chance to shine. So don't worry about that. So yeah, I agree. Not a good look. I kind of looked at it as like, man, you just got drafted to the NBA, number 5 overall pick, going to make $9 million a year. Like, go show up, play ball, and like just be happy. You know what? Go prove yourself, and then there'll be franchises wherever you want to go. They'll come get you. You can decline your contract extension and go play somewhere else. Like that's kind of how I felt about it.
That's the good thing when you're getting drafted after your freshman year. Like, really, right when you hit your stride, you kind of have the control, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, to go wherever you want. Because my boy and I were talking about the kid from USC, and by that I mean South Carolina, that got drafted to the Raptors. I forgot his name, but he can hoop, and he always gave Tennessee a hard time.
Oh, Murray Boyles. Call him Murray Boyles.
Murray Boyles. He can play, and they're kind of getting on him about, he's like cussing when the Raptors drafted him and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, man, you're 20 or 19, whatever you are. Do what you're supposed to do for 3 years or 4 years, whatever it is. You're only 23, 24, approaching your prime. Now go where you want to go, sign a 2 or 3 year deal, and then in your prime. Like, everything is paved for you to be successful in the long run. You can go to a successful team, or you can make the most money, like whatever your motivation is, if it's just to make as much money or if it's to get rings. When you get drafted after your freshman or sophomore year, you are still in position to dictate your career path, as long as you do what you're supposed to. So, like you said with Utah, deal with wherever you are, do what you're supposed to do. As a rookie, get off your rookie deal, go where you want to. And is there, and you're right, Utah, super passionate fan base. Toronto, I mean, is there a team that doesn't have a passionate fan base besides probably the Hawks? I think Atlanta's just a terrible sports town, even though they got all the sports. Falcons fans are terrible. Hawks fans are terrible unless they're in contention. And obviously everybody shows up when you're in contention. But Falcons games are super quiet. Hawks games, when I used to live in Georgia and I would go, and this, I mean, obviously this is forever ago, but super quiet, relative. But generally speaking, NBA teams have great fan bases. And I don't know who else doesn't besides Atlanta. Maybe Sacramento, but even them, they seem pretty dope.
I think what makes it different and again, we talked about this. The first time I went to Utah, I drove through there on my way out here. Gorgeous, like absolutely insane. Definitely sleeping on what Utah has to offer. That being said, I don't know that it's like in Atlanta or an LA or some of these other big cities.
Sure, off court, you got some other stuff going on for sure.
Exactly. In Utah, you not so much. Like, when the game is on any given day, that's the thing to do, right? So it's like you had that thing packed out. Same with like OKC. Now, Indiana, there's a lot of things to do in Indianapolis, but they still draw a crowd there, or at least they're in the playoffs. Who knows what the regular season games are when they're so.
Now They're about it. They're about it for sure
Yeah.
with the Pacers. Yep.
So I think with that is a little bit different. When like Miami, they'll get packed out for big games, but during a weekday game, there's a million things to do down there in Miami that are pulling your attention away from it, from basketball. I mean, what was y'all's steal of the draft? Like, who do you think later pick is going to be someone who can come in there and do some big things for an organization that wasn't outside the lottery?
Walter Clayton, man.
Yeah,
Walter,
bro.
Walter,
I think that's
what was he,
easy. Yeah, that's easy
Yeah,
to
18.
me. That
Yeah.
dude, that dude is gonna. I think he is gonna be great. And I just that's all I got to say about that.
I got a little bias towards Chaz going in the second round as well, because I think he's a great fit for Detroit. I don't know that you plug Chaz everywhere, but I think he's a great fit for Detroit. And a big difference between him and Dalton Connect, I don't think he's better than Dalton Connect, but he's significantly more athletic, and he can just give you more if he locks in defensively than DK can. DK just doesn't have a foot speed. Chaz showed that he's got a whole lot of athletic ability, and then obviously he can shoot. They don't need him to be a primary scorer like Tennessee did. Just sit out there, spot up, let Kay Cunningham feed him, hit your threes, play some defense, and then he can be a cheaper version of what they wanted Tim Hardaway Jr. to be. But my primary answer is definitely Walter Clayton.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yo, how we feel about the Nets? A lot of people hate how the Nets handled all 5 of those first round picks that they had.
I like the Danny Wolf pickup, to be honest. I think he's a versatile big who can the stretch four. Everybody's looking for a stretch 4, stretch 5 type guy. If it'll translate to the league, I don't know. I think he's got a lot to his game. I don't know. Maybe they tried. If I was the Nets that had 5 first round picks, I don't need 5 first round picks. I'm packaging those things and I'm trying to go get one big name, maybe 2 or something like that. Fall back down in the second round, get some pieces. I don't know what 5 first rounders are going to do for you in today's league. Like probably not. But yeah, I would have done something with those and try to go package them up to get a lottery pick guy that can actually change my franchise.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I just to me, if you've got all 5, like you obviously did some doing to get those 5 first round draft picks, and that's just capital right there. Like there's plenty of people I feel like they could have gone out and got, and then probably still kept honestly like 2 of them, 2 or maybe 3,
Yeah.
and then like you said, drop back into the second round, probably get you a steal there too. But I don't know, that franchise I feel like has been in shambles for a while.
They have failed KD, Harden, Kyrie thing that set them back a decade.
Yeah.
So I told you I had a Du Thiero take, however you say his last name, going to the Lakers.
Yeah.
All right. I want.
This thing must be out there because you're having a hard time getting it out. This must be
I hate saying stuff because out here. Well, I shouldn't say hate, but because now everybody's got to think I'm like saying like this player is this player, which isn't the case. But we all know Adu is like insanely athletic, can get to the basket, has a decent jump shot he's growing into, but really what he's known for is like his ability to get to the rim, get downhill, big body for someone his age. What was LeBron James known for when he first came in the league?
Definitely getting to the cup, being an athletic freak.
Being a freak.
That even when people would go like this on him, he would still get the N1 because he's just so much more physically dominant and gifted than anybody else out there.
So Adu Thiero is not LeBron James, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying is like when I watch and I see that draft pick and he goes there, I'm like, could this be like the dude that is behind LeBron and can like, hey, this is how I came in the league. I was a freak going downhill, like just bigger, stronger, faster than everybody who played up against me. And then I grew my game into stretching out where I'm a decent 3-point shooter now, those sort of things. Because LeBron's got 1 or 2 more years left. And I'm thinking, I watched the dude play for 2 years at Kentucky, watched him last year. He had his best year this year under Cal and really extended his game. And be like, could this be like the heir apparent to take over that role that LeBron James has in LA, or I guess could have in LA now that he's 40?
Nah.
Is that wild? I just see, like, I just think we could grow into that maybe.
No. I get what you're saying, like, but I don't think that is the reasoning behind them bringing him in. I don't know, dude. That first of all, that's a lot of pressure to put on anybody. But I think, like, with the amount of dedication that it took for LeBron to go from being just a purely downhill dude who was going to randomly splash a couple of 3-pointers when you least expect it, to being like the all around game that he's developed. Just, one, takes a lot of work, and two, obviously it takes a lot of God-given talent to even be able to produce that. So I don't know that he develops into that type of player. So I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but that's just me. I'm also I'm also a LeBron fan, so I'm clearly biased. Like,
let's go, man.
Well, I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm an Adu fan.
We know.
But I just think,
we know.
and even
we know.
But this is still a pro LeBron take because he is great, right? But LeBron's still not stretching the floor really. Like no one's worried about, like they'll give him the shot. He can make the shot, but I don't know.
Until you start doing this one right here. Start looking at the ball. That's going in every time.
I just like if you got Luka and he's going to be there, you need someone to get to the cup, get downhill, be physical. You could get put shooters around him. I think if a dude goes there and really is intentional and watches some old Cleveland tape, he sees how LeBron does the thing. I just think he could be a if LeBron is the Target version, a dude can be the Walmart version. Maybe he can get you some great value LeBron minutes.
The Wish version.
Well, so the Lakers are going to start building around Luka, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're going. So I would, maybe he can be a poor man's, like a stylistically similar player to LeBron, but I don't think that's what they're looking for now. You got to just get somebody who can play off the ball.
Yeah.
With Luka, and so people who can be good slashers, people who can hit spot up shots at the last second after Luka dribbles all the air out of the ball and then kicks it to you at the last second, the way James Harden used to do in Houston. So
yeah.
I mean, so maybe he can stylistically resemble LeBron, but I don't think the Lakers are looking like, hey, who can give us something similar to LeBron? I think they're looking in the future like, who's going to complement Luka?
Yeah, I think he's a good piece. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good piece.
So if he can do that cutting and that kind of that physicality that you're talking about, where he can get an and one, slash at the last second, then that's a good fit. But I don't think they're looking for any kind of similarity between him and LeBron. It's just about who fits with Luka moving forward.
Yeah, that's fair. I saw that. I was like, hey, maybe this is where we go to see that early part of LeBron's James game in Adu. Just again, the size really. I think, like you said, I think stylistically is the better word that you said, T. But just like size comp of like big body, strong, athletic freak. Who if he's going downhill, you're not stopping him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of, I'm not at the level that LeBron was, but there are a lot of people like that. I mean, Jalen Green is obviously not the physicality, but he's super athletic. Jonathan Kuminga to me is a primary one. He's crazy athletic, and Steve Kerr just can't figure out what to do with him or how. But dude can jump out the gym. He's strong, all that kind of. So there are people in that mode who are tall and athletic and strong. But then it goes to what Black is talking about. It then takes something even extra special to develop into an all-time great or even a current great. And that's where everybody struggles. They don't know how to take their God-given talent and then also throw in some hours in the gym talent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Well, wrapping up the draft, T, I'm surprised you didn't say the steal was Meshack with the last pick to Memphis. Stayed in the state.
They're not gonna keep him. It's the same thing they did a few years ago with Yves Pons. I mean, Yves Pons was defensive, I think 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, definitely at least once. And then by his senior year, he actually developed an offensive game too. So he had the athleticism needed for the NBA, the defense needed for the NBA, and then he had enough, offensive game to me because John Moran is who the offense is around anyway, where he could have stuck. And then they still didn't. He didn't stick. I feel like that's what's going to happen with my boy Meshack. I mean, I love that he got drafted, and I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed because I want him to stick. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel
man,
like
we'll see.
I feel like I've seen it before with Memphis with one of my guys and one of our defensive center guys. So it just
Some scar tissue.
yeah, some scar tissue is there. And
Yeah,
same with Detroit. I know they didn't draft Zakai, but he's going to go do summer ball there. A few years ago, they drafted Jordan Bone in the second round, and Jordan Bone is to this day, I think the quickest player I've ever seen with the ball. Like dude's first step was out of control, and he could hoop, but he didn't stick in Detroit. So I don't. I'm not expecting Zakai to stick around.
yeah. Well, for the Kentucky boys, Kobe Brea playing with D Book in Phoenix. That's exciting. We'll see how it goes. I
That's
don't
just
think
another
I don't think
shooting guard. Like they
right.
have
Well,
8 million
he'll
shooting
play.
guards.
He'll play the three probably.
He is tall,
If I
so
were to
yeah,
guess.
yeah, he is tall.
I don't think Kobe Bryant going to Phoenix makes them a contender, but he has the potential of being a 15, 18 point scorer game if he can get there next couple of years. And then I didn't see the Amari to Boston move. Traded from my Orlando Magic. Would have loved to see Amari suit up in Orlando. But a big who is not good with his back to the basket, not your traditional on the block, but he's a absolute specimen, 7'1", big body, and he sees the floor well, great vision. So we'll see how he ends up faring with
He the one
Boston.
from England? He's the dude from England?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Honestly, not drafted, but the thing I loved most coming out of draft night was Lamont Butler getting a chance in Atlanta, signing a two-way 10 or Exhibit 10 contract with them, getting a shot. That was huge. I hope he can stick. Again, he's not someone who's going to be great offensively right away. I think he played 5 years of college ball, so he's old for the league. But it's just someone I don't understand why you wouldn't want him on a team. He's an absolute dog. And again, not the same player, but I would put similarities to him to like Drew Holiday, where he's not going to go out there and get you 20 a night, but defensively he's going to give you great minutes. And he's someone who can he's a good locker room dude. Like you want him on your team. The Celtics got him on their team and they want a chip, right? Lamont has a lot to do before he can get to Drew Holiday status. I'm just saying I think he's that type of mentality. Great defensively and can go off for 30 on a 10 for 10 game against Louisville and send them home crying. So like he's got the ability in him. I love that he's getting a shot in the league.
I'm with you on that. I like Butler, even though, my exposure to him, I saw him in the championship when he was at San Diego State, but my real exposure to him was at Kentucky. But you got to be aware enough to know who you like and who you don't like, regardless. Like I love Rondo, even though he's a Kentucky guy. So yeah, I only have positive, other than the fact that he suited up for the blue. I got nothing but positive thoughts on Lamont Butler. So I hope he sticks too. And I see him having a better chance to stick than even Zakai, even though Zakai was probably a more successful collegiate player. Lamont Butler can still hoop. He still had a great college career, and he probably has a better chance to stick.
Yeah, and Lamont body type better for the league than Zakai.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Zakai he's too small. He's a true undersized guard.
Yeah.
Like he's just, and unless you're about to be Earl Boykins or maybe Ty Lawson, but Ty Lawson's offensive game was pretty incredible. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, if you're of that physique, you got to be great, like amazing at something. Something in your game's got to be phenomenal. And Z's just a great overall basketball player, or good overall basketball player, I would say. Great for the college game. We'll see if he can stick in the league. But
yeah, I mean, defensively, he's elite, right? But I think when that is your calling card and you're that small, it's difficult, right? Like all the other small guards, their calling card was offense. Like even Muggsy Bogues, dude was a point guard. He's giving you 10 assists a night or whatever. And Zakai, he might be able to do that, but it's just a different game now than when Muggsy was playing. And you probably got to bring a little more offensively. I think he could find a way to stick if whatever team he's with tells him what they need from him, he can figure it out. But it's an uphill battle for him for sure.
Yeah, and I know Kentucky fans are still kind of shocked. Jackson Robinson has not signed with anybody. I'm curious on what's going on with there. I think if you don't get drafted, why rush? Find the spot that's right for you. I think he'd be great in Boston as well, just because his play style is a great 3-point shooter. They jack him up. I could see him coming in there. If they aren't able to keep Brown, he could kind of eventually fill that role. He has a very similar style of game. But I don't know where he's going to end up. He will definitely
Does he
find
have
himself
injury?
in the league.
Does he have injury concerns?
So he had the wrist that kept him out for the season, but that's
Right.
healed now. He's been doing workouts. He's been posting on IG and doing and all the things that we're out for teams and whatnot. So there might be some concern still for the injury. I think it's more that he's kind of getting he didn't have a lot of film late in the season. He's the most NBA ready guy that we had last year. So, and if you remember him playing against Duke, playing against Gonzaga, some of the big teams, the first game we played against y'all, he just the dude is a baller. I think Mississippi State was probably his best game where he went 7 of 9 from 3, I believe, some crazy number like that. Just a pure shooter, and he's big. Your true wing that you want to in the league. So he'll get with somewhere, but surprised that someone didn't go chasing after him right away. But
that's kind of what happened with Brew McCoy with us. He was a receiver for us, and he very much so the mold of Juwan Jennings type. Not as dynamic as Jennings, but big body, super physical, and super reliable. And then didn't get drafted. And then I'm like, all right, he'll get picked up immediately, and didn't get picked up, and then he ended up having to retire. And there's just too many injury concerns, I think, from when he broke his ankle or whatever it was. He just, as reliable as he was, I think he had too many injury concerns to keep the teams off of him. So I didn't know if that was what was happening with Jackson.
The wrist injury, which was from a fall, I think that's the only thing that's plagued him throughout his college career. So I don't think there's a injury history with him. But again, he's played 5 years of college ball, and for some reason, if you do that, it's you're on the lower level of folks for that the NBA wants. I don't understand, but in my mind, it makes sense. I can get a dude in a 4 or 5 year window in his prime for super cheap, and I can use the hell out of him right now. And if he's great and he gets to his second contract and he's still got 5 years in him, awesome. I found a gem. If not, hey, I used up everything in this dude's tank for a 5 year cheap comparative to the NBA, and then see you. But I don't know. All right, draft over. But what happened right before the draft, and I know we've had this conversation before, and it's KD. And I know 2 of us feel a certain way about the KD move, and 1 of us feels another way about it. So we'll start with Alex, who believes this is not a needle mover trade. KD to the Houston. Tell me about it, AB.
Bro, I mean, where outside of Golden State has this man been traded where it has been a win for the team that he has been traded to? I mean, honestly. He stepped into Golden State with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in their prime, shooting the lights out every night with a good team around him. And don't get me wrong, I think the Rockets have a very good young franchise, and I think they are going to be successful. But if you're asking me, do I think that this gets him by OKC or a Minnesota team that's only going to continue to get better? Absolutely not. Because At the end of the day, does it add scoring? Yeah, cool, it does. But like we're talking about LeBron being at the tail end of his career, KD's at the tail end of his career too. So, like, you can't. He is a defensive liability. He is not giving you anything. Yes, he is. He is not. Oh my god,
What are you
who is
talking
he
about?
locking up? Who is he locking
Nobody.
up? Is he going to go
Nobody.
out
He
and
ain't
lock
locking
up
up
Anthony
nobody.
Edwards?
He's not
Exactly.
locking up anybody, but who's going ham on him? Dude is 7 feet tall. Like,
Okay.
okay,
When has
so
KD been a
listen to
part of
all.
you look this up for me right now. If you can find me one time that KD has been part of an all defensive NBA team, I will shut up right now.
I don't need him to be all defensive to not be a liability. Like, there's only 15 people that are all defense. There are other people who can be a solid defender. I don't need you. Just like Steph, all those years, Steph has never been all defense, but he gives you effort. That's all I need from you defensively. Don't be a statue
So
like Luka or James Harden. But back to your other points, you are correct. KD is not a leader. He doesn't go places and have all this success. The lack of success is not because of his on-court performance, right? The problem is because he's the best player on the team, the teams and the people expect him to be the leader. He didn't have to be the leader in Golden State. It was literally just go hoop.
Right.
Boston, they needed him to be a leader. Phoenix, they needed him to be a co-leader with Book, right? And Book's not this super boisterous dude either. He just goes out there and handles business. I don't think in Houston they need him to be the leader because Van Vliet is like their leader. You got other.
I love Fred Van Vliet.
You got leader. Now I'm not saying he's the best player or anything. Yeah. Leader the same way that Kyle Lowry was in Toronto the year they won their ring. Yeah. So you got some veteran presence in Houston with Jeff Green, who's a champion, Van Vliet, who's a champion. You don't necessarily need KD to go in there and be a leader. And if he can just go in there and they just let him focus on hooping, that's what you need out of him, and that's what makes the difference.
The best.
I don't think they're looking at him to lead there.
The best part of that whole trade is that Dillon Brooks is no longer a member of the Houston Rockets.
And we don't got to watch it.
And I don't got to pay attention to Dillon Brooks. That is the best part of that whole trade.
So that's part of my argument too is outside the needle mover, Houston got KD for a bag of balls and potato chips. Like they get nothing. Like Dillon Brooks, who cares? And then like was it Jalen Green?
Yeah.
That
great up and coming prospect, but like he comparative to what they already have on the roster, Jalen Green is he's good, but they got a stacked young roster. So I don't think like losing him is detrimental to the team. But then
they were looking at Jalen Green was supposed to be their guy, right? Like the offense was supposed to be going through him, and he just wasn't consistent enough. So now you swap that for the most efficient offensive player ever.
Best scorer I've ever seen. I'll give you that, like hands down. Like I don't think anybody.
Yeah, second to Carmelo, like maybe I don't know. You could argue those two as far as like pure bucket getters,
like an absolute bucket. I'm not arguing.
Yeah,
and Kobe.
I'm not up here trying to say KD sucks. Like let me be clear about that. I just don't. I don't see how that move gets them past an OKC. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about his previous trades. I mean, that Brooklyn team, even all the drama that Kyrie brought, and like he was. You remember that turnaround almost three that he hit that would have put them over on that game.
He was a toenail
away. And then if he's further back on that jump shot, it goes in. I mean, this can maybe completely different, right? So I think he has the ability to be the dude on a team, and all the points that T said, I buy into as well. I subscribe to. I also think one thing that wasn't mentioned is, and this was talked about when MA was on the Celtics, that was a young team. Jason Tatum wasn't the leader yet. Brown wasn't the leader yet. But Ime Udoka was the dude. Like he was the guy that was the leader of that team who galvanized that team and kind of elevated them to that NBA Finals prominence, right?
Yeah, he made the top three coach. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Houston Rockets are way ahead of schedule with where they were. They were not supposed to be number 2 in the West last year with the age of their team and whatnot. And MA comes in and does his thing. So now you got KD to come in there. And I think KD and that relationship there too, he respects Ime Udoka and you're not going to have any craziness where you can just, hey, I can figure out a way to get Kevin Durant the basketball, make him happy. I think if you're the number 2 team in the West, you get beat buy an experienced team in Golden State. Now you bring in the experience of a dude who's already been there, done that, is a champion, is a Finals MVP. I think that is a needle mover to where now you got to talk about Houston with OKC, and maybe LA if they can kind of figure it out. I don't know, but as stacked as the West is, I do think you got to talk about them as an NBA Finals contender now with KD on there. This is a 50-40 guy over the last 5 years. So
I'm not. Okay. Let me preface this. I'm not sitting up here saying that they are not going to have a great season, right? Like they were already number 2 in the West. We all know that they had a great young team. I totally agree with you ahead of schedule, but me personally, outside of Dylan Brooks, he can go wherever he wants. I think you keep that team together, and it's like I don't know. I like what they had going, and I don't know that necessarily. And we'll see. I could be sitting up here next year and be completely fucking wrong, which wouldn't be the first time. But yeah, again, it feels. While it does kind of feel like a win now thing. While they didn't leverage their future, you know what I mean? Like they did pick him up for basically pennies on the dollar, which is wild to me how little they had to give up to get him. But it feels very much like a win now type of strategy, and it just feels a little forced.
But if you're number 2 right now, where do you downgrade? Defensively, maybe, but now just Azur Thompson or Amen, whichever one of those twins it is your primary defensive guy, and those two are probably the best perimeter defensive players right now since Drew Holiday's a little older. So you don't have much of a downgrade there. And then offensively, you're switching Jalen Green for who only scored more than 10 or 13 points in the playoffs once for KD. Like, where's the downgrade for the number 2 team in the West?
I'm not saying it's going to necessarily be a downgrade, but I don't think it makes them. I don't think it elevates them to an OKC level. I just don't.
Let me ask you this:
Are you more competitive this year than you were last year?
Scoring wise, absolutely.
No, as a team, are you more competitive?
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you that. You're more competitive, but it's still, again, I'm going to sit up here and keep hammering home the same point. I do not think that team beats Oklahoma City.
So if you have KD on the team this year, Jalen Green gone, Dylan Brooks gone, and you're playing Golden State in the first round this year, do they get past Golden State?
Man, I don't. Do they have a better chance? Yeah, but they ran into a hot team at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's
how it works. They couldn't keep up with them scoring.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Maybe. Who knows? Would they have had a better chance? Yes, absolutely. But they just ran in. Nobody wanted to play Golden State in the first round. The way that they closed out the season,
Jimmy Butler came in there to change that team for sure.
Yeah, nobody wanted to play them. That was a crap matchup for whoever had to play that team in the first round.
So to me, the needle moves. It's just a matter of, is it moving enough?
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. And I guess really when we get to it, that's my point is I still don't, especially now that OKC's got the monkey out their back and they've won a championship. Like usually it's that first one that's hard to get to. Right. And I think that will open the floodgates for them. And it's just, the West is just so good, man. Like it top to bottom, those playoff teams, it is a friggin' gauntlet.
It is a gauntlet.
Just to get to the NBA Finals. So
is it fair to say this is the defining, or probably the defining piece of KD's career? He's been bouncing around so much. He went to Golden State, got his championships, went to Brooklyn, went to Phoenix. If he goes to Houston, the number 2 team in the West, and they don't get to an NBA Finals, or even maybe Western Conference NBA Finals, whatever it is, and they regress, do you now look at KD's overall career, his legacy, hierarchy in the league differently?
Yes. Well, not differently because I already see it. See it that way. But he's an all-time great talent who is not an all-time great player.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I mean, he's still an all-time great player, but he's not as high as he should be or could be.
Should be, yeah. And losing, I think, does less to his legacy than winning does. Because if he just goes there and it's another failed experiment, then it's just another one to add to the list of failed experiments, right? You're just adding it to Phoenix, you're adding it to Brooklyn, you're adding it to OKC. Now, if he goes and wins, I think that absolutely, you get that second title. It absolutely elevates him. I think, because he will have to be. I think the biggest thing to kind of T's point is like, while he may not necessarily need to be a leader on that team for them to win, like he is absolutely going to have to lead. I think, and maybe he's at a point in his career now where like, you know, that's where he's at, and he'll finally step up and he'll be that. Yeah, don't worry.
My kids have entered the house.
Like,
yeah.
So you know, maybe he you know finally has that career defining season. But I think that is what it is going to take if they want to get to an NBA Finals and win an NBA Finals for that franchise. Because he doesn't have, just like LeBron, he doesn't have that many years left, right? Like he just doesn't. They're getting up there. You know, we're changing the guard.
36, maybe 37 by the time the season starts. So he's got
big difference. 2 more years. Big difference between the two, though. KD's game, which is why he didn't really fall off after the Achilles, is not predicated off of athleticism, like LeBron's is.
Yeah, dude. He's just, I mean, he's a freak of nature in a different way.
He's smooth. Like, he's tall, and he's under control. Not that he's never had explosion, but the bulk of his dominance has not been due to explosiveness.
No, absolutely. He's
a skill set, combined with being 7 feet tall.
He's just a sniper, like an absolute sniper. Like,
yeah. All right, well, time will tell. I agree with both your points. I think that if he goes to Houston and he can't get him over the hump, that does say something on his legacy. I think if he does get a championship, now you put him on the hierarchy as like, okay, he is one of those dudes who can come into a franchise and change it. And maybe alleviate some of that cupcake narrative from when he left OKC to go to Golden State. At the end of the day, he's going to retire as one of the most decorated players of all time with his time with the USA team. He's got a championship, MVP, Finals MVP, all those things. But can he be the guy to come in there and get your team a chip? So far, he has not been able to do that, unless you're telling me Golden State wouldn't have won that other one without him. I guess that's an argument for a different day. But as we close out, I'm being told that there's a big-ass UFC card tonight, and our resident UFC guy is we're going to talk about it. What's going on? I only know the main event, to be honest. I know everybody else I don't know.
Yeah, so the main event, they got the lightweight title fight with Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria. So Topuria was the featherweight champ. He moved up. First dude to knock out Volkanovski, and the first dude to knock out Max Holloway in either one of those dudes' careers. Dude's got absolute dynamite in his hands, so fast and just ridiculously powerful for his size. But I mean, dude, moving up a weight division and having to go fight Oliveira, who like has put down some of the the all-time names in that division.
Yeah, even I know him.
That is a big ass. Topuria is like a minus 250 favorite, which to me is disrespectful to Charles.
Wow.
That he has done, because I mean, when you talk about having power to just absolutely shut the lights out, like Charles also has that, and he's a ridiculous master of submissions. I'm pretty sure he owns the record for UFC submissions by a lightweight in his career. So, I mean, Topuria's young dude, very talented, undefeated. I don't want to say it's not going to be a close fight, but I don't think he's just going to come in and starch Charles like he's been starching these other dudes that he's been fighting. So I'll be interested to see. If I had to throw a pick down, I'm taking Oliveira to win by submission, probably somewhere around like round 3. And then the co-main is Pantoja and Kai Kara France for the bantamweight title. Pantoja's been, I mean, that weight class is stacked, and they're just like tiny and fast, and it's entertaining to watch. Multifaceted fighters. Kai Kara France, he's a Maori dude, those New Zealanders, absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. Got a lot of power for how small he is. And I think I'm going 2 for 2 on the underdogs to win in both the main and the co-main. I think he gets Pantoja out of there. And I think he shuts his lights out, to be honest with you. So we're going to see. I'll probably sit up here and look bad takes here for both of those fights. But dude, it's going to be entertaining. I'm excited.
If you're in a place that you can gamble, parlay the underdogs in the main and co-main, and if it doesn't hit,
then come back and tell.
I can't even say go in AB's DMs because he doesn't have
sure
Twitter.
can't.
So I guess just hit up the Heavy Poor Sport
Yeah.
DMs and be like, this dude sucks.
This
Costs
dude's
my
terrible.
money. I can't pay for my kids to have groceries and shit now because I gambled on this thing.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I'm excited. Like, but it is at least decently close. So I don't know. Don't take me for my word. I'm not a betting man. I'm not actually going to throw money down on this. So disclaimer. So you take that for what you want, all you gambling addicts out there that are maybe listening to this show.
Hey, but, whoa! Don't do that. It's I am no longer one because I can't gamble out here. Have I, maybe made a phone call or two to someone who lives in a state that can to throw a little coin on a Kentucky game potentially. There's a negative undertone to that. There's nothing wrong with it. Gamble responsibly. It's all that matters.
Yes,
Just like,
please do, and then don't blame us if you don't.
Yeah, and drink responsibly.
They got hotlines for that shit.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I am heading over to your house here in a little bit once the kids go down. We'll probably bring Jay with me to come over and watch the fights. We'll have a good old time. T, you enjoy the heathens that just came back from the park. You no longer have a quiet house.
Yeah, nope.
And remember, I'm coming off like a 2-week break, right? Like they were visiting family for 2 weeks, and we're like 3 days in, and I'm already like,
sensory overload, my guy. I know how it goes.
Yes.
I know how. Just so many noises. It's like Brick from fucking Anchorman. It's just loud noises.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be the last one we do for a little bit. We're going to take July off. Really, not much to talk about. I guess we could be a big baseball show, but there's too many damn games to really focus on that right now. But we're going to come back and get into football once we get
football season, Emmett. So I don't got to listen to none of your little Final Four talk. None of that mess until November, football whenever basketball starts. Football.
It's gonna be me and Terrence up here smiling every week in college.
Relax.
I can't wait.
Relax.
I can't wait.
We hooking 2026 guys right now, man. Kentucky's doing his thing. I got an interview tomorrow with one of the kids, 4-star kids out of Austin. We're gonna do on the All UK Ball Show. He just got Brad White doing his thing. So we're gonna interview him and talk about what he thinks about the program. The wide receiver coach, the dude came from USF, actually killing it right now. I'm a little bit concerned because we got a lot of 2026 guys. Curious what the staff looks like next year. But it will be all right. We are going to get to a bowl game this year. We're going to win that bowl game, and we're gonna feel good about the season. I'm putting the juju out there.
If we want to celebrate the Duke's Mayo Bowl, then
shit.
Hey, first of all, there ain't nothing wrong with the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Ain't nothing wrong with the Pop-Tart Bowl. All right, all these things got to happen.
We've discussed it. None of it is relevant anymore. They do not matter anymore.
I know. They don't matter. They don't matter anymore.
Your team ain't even going to be playing them. You might make the bowl game. Everybody else is just going to be like,
everybody's going to opt out and prepare for the draft and all that.
No. You see the shirts? The shirts say blue collar on them. These boys are working. All right, they want to play. They are here to play. Motivated Mark Stoops.
They're wearing whatever shirts are provided to them for free. Like they don't care. That thing could be like, we're the worst, and they would wear it anyway because it's a free shirt.
Hey, you might just turn it inside out, but
Motivated Mark Stoops ain't messing around this year. He said he's pissed off. He's coming to prove something.
What's funny is Kentucky fans are not even buying into that. Like I see a lot of big BBN on X, and Kentucky fans are not buying it. So
I am very amused at the fact that you had to bring up the fact that Mark Stoops lost weight, and I guarantee you, even though
Ozempic Stoops ain't messing around. All right.
The only thing that motivates that man is a donut and a beer, dog. Get out of here.
That's not true. He's a bourbon and cigarette guy. All right. That's how he lost all that weight. He's got a steady diet of
really good
darts, and some
darts and bourbon.
Just sucking down darts and drinking his RD1 bourbon, and he's losing weight, looking good. He's motivated as hell, and we're gonna win football games this year. Over under, I think it's 4.5. We're hitting the over. Guarantee it. Right,
you heard it here first, folks.
That's bold.
Here first.
Don't take that betting advice. That definitely will not parlay with anything.
Hey, if Vandy can surprise folks last year, so can we. All right. Zach is going to come in here, sling that rock. We still got Jamore Macklin out there running routes. We're going to be all right. We're gonna be all right.
I can't wait for week 1 to be over and just hear how the script
Hey,
flips.
if I'm coming on here week 1 against
who do y'all got
Toledo
week
and we're
1?
Toledo.
Okay.
If I'm coming on here week 1 against Toledo and I'm already nervous, we're just gonna end the show. It'll be the Border Rival show with AB and Terrence, and I'm just gonna be done with it.
He'll be
We'll
be
be
back
the
when basketball
we'll be
season starts.
order rivals instead of border
the
rivals.
order.
Take the B out.
Yeah, the Blues gonna be
man.
dead, but
So good.
well, whatever. On that note, go Cats.
Go Big Orange.
Peace.